Today in the news, we got smart access memory for everyone, NVIDIA making a big move, and more. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. Before we start, I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I got a nice surprise and huge updates about the channel coming up this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Also, I'm making a Q&A video, so if you have any questions about me or the channel, I'll be answering them soon in a Q&A for 2020. Just make sure to use the hashtag QA2020 so I can sort out your questions. Let's get started with AMD. The company has been growing pretty strict with the use of new technologies on older platforms. It started with the decision to make Zen 3 CPUs incompatible with older 300 and 400 series boards, leaving it exclusive to the 500 series. But thankfully, the company walked back on this decision, and we now have official Ryzen 5000 support on 400 series motherboards, and with a little tinkering, unofficial support for some 300 series. And then there was PCIe Gen 4 support. While it worked on some 400 series boards, AMD was quick to say that they don't support it, even if companies like ASUS and MSI had already validated their motherboards for the technology. And most recently, there's AMD's Smart Access Memory, which is, according to AMD, only available on 400 and 500 series boards, but they added the limitation to Zen 3, aka Ryzen 5000 processors. So if you had anything from 1st gen Ryzen to Ryzen 3000, you could not use it. Well, it looks like motherboard vendors are taking things into their own hands because ASUS and MSI have been testing the resizable bar feature on Ryzen 1000, 2000, and 3000 series of CPUs. In fact, even the Zen 2 based APUs from the 4000G series support the feature. So how does it perform? Well, we don't really know. At least from the one test, it's not impressive. A user tested the feature on a Ryzen 7 1700 and a RX 580, and well, there was barely any difference. In fact, it seems like performance was overall worse before the resizable bar was enabled in the BIOS. This is because you also need a GPU and drivers that support it. Currently, this feature is available on most ASUS and MSI B450 and X470 boards, so if you have one of those and an RX 6000 GPU, you can turn it on and see what kind of boosts you get with your older Ryzen CPU. Moving on, let's talk events. 2020 was hard on all of us, but specifically for all of the events that were canceled, moved, or changed into a live stream. Well, it looks like next year will be sort of similar. CES, which usually happens in January, will of course move to an all-digital format. The big three, that's AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA, will have an online event, and NVIDIA has a special live stream for gamers on the 12th. Then there's Computex, which usually happens in June. This event might actually be a physical exhibition, and I'm super stoked about that because it might actually be my first on-site event ever. Next up, let's talk GPUs. With TSMC in full production force, offering wafers for companies like Apple, AMD, Intel, and more, their production capacity is, well, at capacity. While we thought that NVIDIA would switch to TSMC for their refresh, a recent report from the Korean Economic Daily says that NVIDIA renewed their multi-million-dollar deal with Samsung for consumer products. This is great news in my opinion, since this keeps NVIDIA consumer-grade GPUs away from TSMC and doesn't put extra strain on TSMC's manufacturing capacity. Unfortunately, we won't really see the benefit of this deal anytime soon since, well, it's really hard to buy GPUs right now anyways. And that shortage is also starting to seep into other PC gaming areas. That's right, after GPUs and GDDR6 memory, it's time for displays to get the shortage bug. Next up, we got a segment I haven't done in a while, the free game check. The Epic Store is doing its Christmas thing and releasing one free game every day for the next 2 weeks. Today, it's Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, new and tasty. Personally, I really look forward to playing that since it was one of my favorite games as a kid. If you want that game, act quick because it's only available for 24 hours. Epic did the same thing last year. There were some really cool games available, so make sure you check back every day. And since we're on the topic of games and game stores, it looks like Cyberpunk 2077 is off to a really rough start, with Sony straight up removing the game from its digital stores and issuing full refunds to buyers. Yikes! While it was clear that there were issues with the PS4 version of the game, the PS5 version is also getting pulled from the Sony store. And that's pretty much it for the catch-up, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked it, a comment if you want to talk about today's story. I'm really excited about what I'm about to show you guys this weekend. And then there was shelves we built. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Rolling them dice, I love it, I love it.